Munchlax!
Oh my god, are you serious? Was it 3 recordings for Christmas? Yeah, that's right, I'm giving you guys 3 recordings with my brand new team for Christmas. All 3 of them today, all one after the other. So really, all I have to say is, Merry Christmas. Looking at my opponent's team, threats, I'm gonna have to say Gengar, cause, well, it's a Gengar. I mean, sure, Gengarite is banned now, but still, it could be Scarfed or something, which is not good. Volcarona, which, if I let that thing set up with Quiver Dance, I'm done. There's just no stopping it. And a tie for the last spot for threats is between Magnezone and Crobat, which can both do Volt-turning shenanigans. So, without further ado, let's get to the battle. This battle is against BelgianExtraLarge, which we set up the battle through Skype. I'm going to start off with my Rotom, pretty much my standard lead, as he starts off with Crobat. He's going to pull back immediately, go into his Magnezone, bitch Magnet, as I go for the Volt Switch, get a crit, but, you know, it's not going to really matter in the long run. Go into my Noivern, because I can just go for the Flamethrower, and I know that he's probably just, well, maybe he wants to stay in, and I know that it has very bad special defense, as he goes into Crobat, and I know that I outspeed, but I'm still not, 1, I'm not going to want to take a Brave Bird, and 2, Flamethrower is going to do nothing. I mean, if I was locked into Draco, that'd be fine, but not Brave Bird, or not Flamethrower. So he goes for the Brave Bird, I switch into my Rotom, and he's going to pull back, go into his Testicle. Jeez, man, what's with the nicknames? It's Christmas! And I go for the Volt Switch, which is going to do lots and lots of damage. Go into my Chestnut, which is going to be able to knock him out. And if I didn't, I completely skipped over the fact because I was speeding through, but, you know, props for not running Drizzle Politoed. Just really, you're awesome. So he switches into his Volcarona, and I remember what he was said before about he and I shared a love of not using, like, standard stuff, but in a non-standard way. And, you know, I was thinking, you know, it's a Volcarona. He might not have Quiver Dance because of this talk we had, but I'm not taking that chance. So I go for a Switcheroo as he brings in his Crobat, and now it's a Scarf Crobat, which is pretty much useless. But I've got Black Sludge, which means I'm not going to be able to be taking any hits or any switch-in hits at all. So I go into my Mandibuzz, which can wall it 100% since it is locked in. He's going to go into his Magnezone again. And I'm going to, knowing this, I'm going to switch out into my Rotom, and even if he wanted to go for Brave Bird again, I was pretty much safe. So he goes into Gengar, and not going for a Volt Switch this time, I'm going to go for the Overheat, which is going to straight up one-shot Gengar. I mean, I'm guessing he was predicting the Volt Switch, and he was going to do some shenanigans later, but you know what? Nope, Overheat, knock him out. So I switch out into my Escavalier, wanting to keep my, since I am still Scarfed. He goes for Scald. Thankfully, I do not get the burn. I go for Knockoff, which is going to knock off his Poliwrath's Life Orb, and I'm going to pull back, go into my Noivern, and I was just going to trick it the Black Sludge, but I guess that's not going to happen. So he goes for Circle Throw, switches me into my Mandibuzz, and I'm gonna Brave Bird this thing till it's dead, which it does over half, really nice amount, solid 2 at KO. He goes for Bulk Up, which, you know, even after that, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be knocked out. I'm going to knock it out with Brave Bird, except I misclick, go for Foul Play, holy crap, except I get a crit, so thank goodness, Hacks solved my mistake, which, oh my god, I meant to go for Brave Bird. I'm so glad that happened. So he brings in his Politoed, goes for the Ice Beam. I knew it was coming. I go into my Escavalier. It does absolutely nothing. And I know he was going to switch, so I go for the Pursuit, does massive damage, and he goes into his Volcarona. And here, I know, I know he uses, like, standard in a non-standard way, but I'm not risking it. I'm going to my Rotom. He goes for Fire Blast. It does, like, minimal damage. And I'm guessing thinking that I was going to go for Overheat again. I go for Trick this time just to be sure, and lo and behold, Quiver Dance. I knew it. I knew you had Quiver Dance. I mean, I guess he has some standard stuff, but I knew it. Never trust a Volcarona to do anything but Quiver Dance. Always give that thing a Scarf. So I'm glad I saved one Trick Scarfer or whatever. And now that I don't have my Scarf, I can go for the Overheat and just go for the Volt Switch now. Even with my reduced special attack, it's still going to be enough to knock out his Politoed. And I'm going to go into my Noivern on the Blind Switch. So in comes Jitterbug again, and I'm just going to leave this thing in as fodder to see what he locks himself into, and just no big deal. And I'm going to go into my Mandibuzz, and this was, I was going to threaten him out with the Brave Bird, and he actually said he had no reason to switch out, but a Brave Bird would have knocked you out from that range. I mean, seriously, why did you not switch out? So I actually double into my Rotom, which gets knocked out from the Fire Blast, which is a bit of a mistake, but dude, you would have been knocked out from a Brave Bird. So I go for the Brave Bird. He realizes this, goes into his Magnezone, and I have to switch out. So I'm thinking this thing isn't Specs or anything, or not locked. It's not locked in any way. He goes for Toxic. Escavalier happens. He goes for Thunderbolt. I predict him to switch out, so I go for Pursuit. And since I see he's not switching out, which, by the way, if Escavalier actually got Drill Run from breeding with another parent besides itself, which is just ridiculous why it even has that egg move. I mean, who would be able to get it? So I just go for the knockoff just to get off the last bit of damage. He knocks me out. I go to my Chestnut to do some massive damage. He goes into his Crobat. And I really should have gone for the Spiky Shield here just to get off a little bit extra damage. But I was afraid he was going to predict that. So I go into my Mandibuzz to tank the hit really well. He pulls back his Crobat, goes into his Magnezone again, as I just roost up. So, Mandibuzz, I need to keep this thing healthy if I want to win. I'm going to switch out into my Chestnut, which is a really good, I guess, resistance core. I'm not sure if that's how you'd say it. I mean, they're both weak to ice, but still. I mean, no one's running Hidden Power Ice in this generation because no one can really get it with a good speed. So I go for Payback as he switches out, and he goes for Heat Wave. I go for Spiky Shield just to scout what he'll lock himself into, and he locks himself into Heat Wave, which, you know what? I am perfectly okay with, because Mandibuzz can definitely take that without being 2-hit KO'd. So, incoming Heat Wave, I go for Brave Bird. It's going to one-shot him. I mean, prior damage, a little bit, you know, no big deal, but just gone. That thing is gone. Thank you, Mandibuzz. That's all I needed you to do. You're dismissed. So I go into my Chestnut. As he brings in his Crobat, I go for the Spike Shield just to see if he'll predict something else, but he just goes for the Brave Bird flat out. So I'm going to pull back, go into my Jaws, my Mawile, to get the Intimidate off and resist the hit, which is really, really awesome. It does, like, nothing. Even though Mawile doesn't have, like, amazing defense like its Mega Evolution does. So, speaking of which, I Mega Evolve here, and I knew from the way he was playing he would predict, so I go for the Power Up Punch, predicting his prediction, and knock him out. So, all that's left is his Crobat. I know what Scarfed. If he wants to win, he has to attack, which means I can go for the Sucker Punch, knock him out, and that is going to be GG. Thank you, BelgianExtraLarge. That was a great battle. So, now that we've finished our final battle, let's get to the talk of the day. Today's talk of the day, simple. Merry Christmas, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed that gift, and I will see you guys next time. Be sure to check out the artists that make these videos possible, guys. Also, like and subscribe if you happen to like the video. Or if you'd like some help recording your X and Y battles, shoot me a PM on YouTube or Skype, and I'll get back to you.